I travel around the world. I do events constantly. The first part of my events are always to establish that, because I want to protect people from, like, anybody who walks in front of a crowd of people and says, who here connects with a butterfly? Well, guess what? Somebody's going to connect with a butterfly, right? Every afterlife book has a butterfly on it because it's the quintessential transformation. So I try to do the debunking of my own field while raising the bar and kind of trying to put out there what I think people should be looking for, in my professional opinion.
Yeah, I think that's the natural concern people have, is that the human mind can project anything back onto itself. So when you say butterfly, it's like every single person in the room is thinking of that exact moment. It's almost like saying, don't think of a pink elephant. And then naturally the whole room is thinking about a pink elephant.
Well, what I do is I stand in front of the crowd and I'll say, I'm going to disappoint all of you right now. And they kind of get that look of like, what? I'm like, here's what I'm not talking about. And then I say, instead of me telling you, I'm going to show you why. And I go, who here connects with butterflies? And that's your sign. And then people raise their hand. And then I go through cardinals and hummingbirds and dragonflies and finding pennies, dimes, and quarters. And then I go through feathers. And then I talk about seeing 1111 and another iteration of numbers. By the time I'm done, 90% of the room has raised their hand. And I'm like, all of that's off the table. I'm not going to bring it up. When we make connections today, we're going to go deeper. And you may have to think about something that's not on your top 10 list of what you want to hear. But as long as it's a fact and a validation, then it's letting you know that it's them coming through. And a lot of times it's really trivial stuff, by the way. Conversations that just happened, things that, they did when nobody else was around. But it supports that there is a survival of consciousness and that our loved ones and friends are still part of what we're doing.
I want to talk about sessions with you, what they look like, because I almost want to have a conversation that helps people understand what the process looks like and feels like. And I was talking to my producer, who I know had a call with you before we booked this and everything. So she was saying to me that when you were on Zoom with her, you asked her if you could read her quickly, or whatever the right language is. Is that accurate? And she said you asked her a question like, who's Chris? And Chris happens to be her ex-boyfriend.
Oh my God, I remember this. I did this.
And
sorry, Paige.
And she'd spoken to him, like she'd had an interaction with him like 2 days before that, she was telling me.
Okay.
And it was just like, there is nowhere that you could have researched that. Her page is a private page on social media, so you couldn't find it there. What are you experiencing? I want to know, like, almost how are things revealed to you? Because that feels, when she was telling me that story, I was just like, that's incredible. Like that's.
You should come to an event then, because
that's
just the tip of the iceberg of like the layers of like what comes through.
But I was just thinking, I was like, there's no way, unless you were family friends of a distant and you knew something. It's a really hard thing to pull off for someone who's not.
That's the good skeptical part. Yeah. Like that's what I want people to have, right? Yeah. So I see, hear, and feel energy.